Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Newsbeat presented to you by Gladys Like and Survivor. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow keeps you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news. Follow. The East African region has suffered persistent fuel shortages, as most member states are dependent on fuel from Kenya's fuel shortages. Refined oil products transported from Port of Mombasa by trucks come at a high cost, and their transportation can be a very risky task.
However, a 932-mile pipeline designed to carry oil produced in Uganda and Kenya is to be constructed from Hoima in western Uganda to Port Lamu through Turkana. The construction of the pipeline was agreed upon by Uganda and Kenya in 2015 to help ease the region's transportation of gasoline.
After its completion, crude oil is expected to flow from Uganda and Kenya to South Sudan, Tanzania and Ethiopia, and to various ports for export to markets like China and South Asia.
Uganda, on the other hand, has been considering another option, a route from Hoima via northern Tanzania to Port Tanga on the Indian Ocean.
This development was reportedly prompted by a report handed to the Ugandan government by the International Oil Firms after making it a feasibility assessment.
The study warned that there'd be a delay in the pipeline's completion due to Kenya's local land disputes and land acquisitions, and the country's poor record of delayed compensation.
There were also concerns about the pipeline security in the northern parts of Kenya, where Al-Shabaab operates with impunity.
However, on the 21st of March 2016, a meeting was held by the heads of the Kenyan and Ugandan governments to resolve the prevailing issues and come to a common agreement.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni presented Uganda's findings to President Uhuru Kenyatta, justifying Uganda's decision to consider the pipeline through Tanzania.
Although the Nairobi meeting did not produce anything conclusive, the discussions were termed as fruitful and progressive.
The two leaders agreed to meet after 2 weeks in Kampala City to finalize and harmonize their position under their pipeline treaty.
The human rights violations in South Sudan has escalated to the extreme since the civil war broke out in December 2013. The conflict has been characterized by killings, displacement and sexual violence, arbitrary arrests, massive looting and enforced disappearances. The horrifying events were recently documented in a report by the United Nations, which contained accounts of civilians with shocking revelations. Although all sides of the conflict have systematically committed crimes against civilian communities, government forces were found to have committed the greater atrocities. There have been crop burning, cattle raiding and the destruction of food stocks by the government forces, and many civilians burnt alive or cut to pieces. The South Sudan government has been criticized for its scorched earth policy, which has already caused famine conditions in the country's state of unity. Women and children have been forcefully recruited to participate in the civil horror in a conflict where rape is being used as a weapon of terror. Churches, mosques and hospitals have also not been spared from the hostilities. So have the United Nations personnel and its peacekeeping facilities. In 2015, the conflict took the lives of as many as 7 journalists and the intimidation and detention of many human rights activists. The report says there have been challenges in administering justice and accountability because the perpetrators of this violence often end up getting amnesty or immunity. The African Union has been urged to create hybrid courts to enforce the law by trying the most horrendous crimes linked to the civil war so that South Sudan can move forward and form a transitional government of unity in order to prevent the recurrence of violence in the world's youngest country. Tanzania is cracking down on the world's oldest profession. Our reporter Russ Judd is here with the full report.
Tanzania cracked down on prostitution hits Dar es Salaam with the detention of 500 sex workers and 300 customers. Simon Siru, the deputy police commissioner, said suspects are being held in 3 detention centers. Police carried out raids on targeted locations in order to combat the increase of prostitution, especially with young girls who are pushed to get money out of peer pressure or by parents and their family. Many citizens feel this has led to moral decay. The problem is not just the sex workers that need the pay, but the customers who make the purchase. Prostitution cannot prosper when customers are absent. That's why Sweden criminalized the purchase of sex in 1999 and has so far seen success. A study revealed that over the last 2 decades, street prostitution was cut in half and progress made by putting the burden on the buyer, resulting in positive change. Now the number of men who admit to buying sex are down by 40%. Part of this may be due to the use of internet, since buyers and sellers can meet online, but attitudes have changed since it became a crime. Other countries have adopted these legislations, including Norway, and now British politicians are calling for the same way in the hope for transformation. However, prostitutes still face a lot of stigma and bias, making it hard to get help from police or social media services. Tanzania has made a move in the right direction, but there is more to be done to reduce street prostitution. I'm Russ Judd, reporting for Newsbeat.
Thank you, Russ Judd, for that report. The Uganda National Bureau of Standards has approved a new ban outlawing lightening cosmetics that do harm you. Over 100 products are on the ban list, including lotions, soaps, and skin creams that used to be a hit. They contain hydroquinone and mercury ingredients, which can be a cause of cancer and other skin ailments. The UNBS is an agency that regulates product safety standards and is their duty to remove any products that causes health hazards. Still, many creams and lotions sold in Uganda contain many dangerous chemicals, and they can lead to cancer, allergies, and mental illness, as well as kidney failure and possibly death. But why is it that beautiful black women want to lighten their skin? Why is it that suddenly they take medicine to remain slim? They are exposed to fake reality of TV and magazine and end up spending half of their income on products to boost their self-esteem. Advertisers are using edited photographs of celebrities to lie to the public. If they want to have the same look, they should use their products. But lying to the public, even through advertising, is a misconduct. That was the news of the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still Ladies Like and Survivor, reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.